we made a covenant with the children of Israel, worship none but Allah, and be good to parents, and relatives, and orphans, and the needy, and speak nicely to people, and pray regularly, and give alms. Then you turned away, except for a few of you, recanting. Righteousness does not consist of turning your faces towards the east and the west. But righteous is he who believes in Allah, and the last day, and the angels, and the scripture, and the prophets. Who gives money, though dear, to near relatives, and orphans, and the needy, and the homeless, and the beggars, and for the freeing of slaves, those who perform the prayers, and pay the obligatory charity, and fulfill their promise when they promise, and patiently persevere in the face of persecution, hardship, and in the time of conflict. These are the sincere, these are the pious. It is decreed for you, when death approaches one of you, and he leaves wealth, to make a testament in favor of the parents and the relatives, fairly and correctly, a duty upon the righteous. They ask you what they should give. Say, whatever charity you give is for the parents, and the relatives, and the orphans, and the poor, and the wayfarer. Whatever good you do, Allah is aware of it. Men receive a share of what their parents and relatives leave, and women receive a share of what their parents and relatives leave, be it little or much, a legal share. If the distribution is attended by the relatives, and the orphans, and the needy, give them something out of it, and speak to them kindly. To everyone we have assigned beneficiaries in what is left by parents and relatives. Those with whom you have made an agreement, give them their share. Allah is witness over all things. Worship Allah, and ascribe no partners to Him, and be good to the parents, and the relatives, and the orphans, and the poor, and the neighbor next door, and the distant neighbor, and the close associate, and the traveler, and your servants. Allah does not love the arrogant show-off. Except those who join people with whom you have a treaty, or those who come to you reluctant to fight you or fight their own people. Had Allah willed, He would have given them power over you, and they would have fought you. If they withdraw from you, and do not fight you, and offer you peace, then Allah assigns no excuse for you against them. O you who believe! Stand firmly for justice, as witnesses to Allah, even if against yourselves, or your parents, or your relatives. Whether one is rich or poor, Allah takes care of both. So do not follow your desires, lest you swerve. If you deviate, or turn away, then Allah is aware of what you do. And do not drive away those who call upon their Lord, morning and evening, seeking His attention. You are not accountable for them in any way, nor are they accountable for you in any way. If you drive them away, you would be one of the unjust. And know that whatever spoils you gain, to Allah belongs its fifth, and to the messenger, and the relatives, and the orphans, and the poor, and to the wayfarer, provided you believe in Allah and in what we revealed to our servant on the day of distinction, the day when the two armies met. Allah is capable of everything. Allah commands justice, and goodness, and generosity towards relatives. And He forbids immorality, and injustice, and oppression. He advises you, so that you may take heed. And give the relative his rights, and the poor, and the wayfarer, and do not squander wastefully. Those of you who have affluence and means should not refuse to give to the relatives, and the needy, and the emigrants for the sake of Allah. And let them pardon, and let them overlook. Do you not love for Allah to pardon you? Allah is all forgiving, most merciful. So give the relative his rights, and the destitute, and the wayfarer. That is best for those who seek Allah's presence. Those are the prosperous. The Prophet is more caring of the believers than they are of themselves, and his wives are mothers to them. And blood relatives are closer to one another in Allah's book than the believers or the emigrants, though you should do good to your friends. That is inscribed in the book. That is the good news Allah gives to His servants who believe and do good deeds. say, I ask of you no wage for it, except affection among the near of kin. Whoever does a good deed, we will increase its goodness for him. Allah is forgiving and appreciative. If you turn away, you are likely to make mischief on earth, and sever your family ties. Whatever Allah restored to His Messenger from the inhabitants of the villages belongs to Allah, and to the Messenger, and to the relatives, and to the orphans, and to the poor, and to the wayfarer, so that it may not circulate solely between the wealthy among you. Whatever the Messenger gives you, accept it, and whatever he forbids you, abstain from it. And fear Allah. Allah is severe in punishment. Neither your relatives nor your children will benefit you on the day of resurrection. He will separate between you. Allah is observant of what you do,